Let's bring in the manager of the Toronto Blue
Skipper.
Jays, the skipper, John Schneider, joining
What's
us
up, guys?
from Cleveland, the underrated road city, Cleveland, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my opinion.
The stadium's nice. Don't go any further
that's
than
not
that.
bad.
Yeah.
John, what gives you the confidence that Carlos Carrasco is the right dude for Orelvis to debut against?
I mean, for one, we got to get him in. You know what I mean? We got to get him playing a little bit. But I think just kind of, he's been such a really good pitcher, a great pitcher. The majority of his career. He's gonna kind of try to live on the edges. We just saw him, pretty familiar with him. You don't want to say overpowering stuff. Every pitcher is, in the league for a reason, but feel like, Orelvis's skill set matches up pretty well with him. Hopefully he can get him in the zone and showcase that power that he's got. But, I think you can look for him to be in the lineup for at least a couple games this weekend.
John, if the people that haven't seen Orelvis hit, explain his swing to us.
Yeah, I mean, it's for one, it looks right. You know what I mean? It's like off the bat, it comes off hard, it comes off different. And, big leg kick, I think that he has the ability to adjust to, fastballs at, multiple spots of the zone. That's something that we talk about with a lot of our minor league hitters. And, he can definitely hit the fastball. And, what's been his area of focus is just obviously strike zone command. When he's swinging at pitches in the zone, he hits it. It reminds a lot of people of a guy like Vlad. You don't want to really compare, but they're different. But I think that the way that he can impact the baseball is something that is hard to replicate. So it's going to be exciting to see him out there.
How about his defense? Second, third, confidence-wise, his throws. Does one side, scream better than the other side? How do you feel about that?
I think second base is probably where he feels most comfortable right now, just because of the amount of time he spent there this year. Third base is an option too. Different sides of the diamond, a little bit different, but I think we're very comfortable with him at either spot. I've been saying a lot of this year about just him getting used to plays that aren't routine, whether it's a cutoff and relay, ball coming in. Kind of just where to be on certain plays that he's gotten better at and will continue to get better at while he's here. But I think his defense is definitely, he's done a really good job of working with Casey and with Murph in AAA, to try to catch up to his bat, really. And but feel confident with him at second and at third.
John, is it more difficult to position a guy at second base from the bench?
How do you mean?
Like in terms of positioning, before pitches and that. Yeah, in-game positioning. Is it any different at second than third?
I don't think so. Sorry, I didn't understand that.
That's all right.
I think, we do such a good job of kind of defining where straight up is, where a pull, hitter is going to be, slight pull, things like that. Carlos and Gil are really good at that. So I think that's not really an issue. And again, it's the same system he's been working with in Buffalo that we're using here.
With Yariel tonight, expectations for him, and will we see more of that good old split finger?
Expectations are hopefully, this team makes a lot of contact. We know that,
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he's making good pitches and turning that contact into outs. And around 80, 85 pitches is kind of what we're looking at for him tonight, just as he kind of continues to build up a little bit. Split will be a big pitch against the lefties, I think, It's a really good pitch, probably better than what we thought it was going to be at this point in his transition over here. And if that's on with that heater slider, it's a pretty good mix, but it's going to come down to executing. These guys can do damage at the top with Jose and with Naylor, and the rest of the guys are a pain in the ass. They're putting the ball in play, so he's got to make good pitches.
Yeah, quick action. That's what you want deeper in the game. Makes your job easier. Okay, the question I think sort of is twofold a little bit. When your team on the pitching side is giving up a bunch of homers, your team on the offensive side is not hitting a bunch of homers. Which one of those – I'm sorry?
Tough recipe.
It is.
Right there.
Which one of those is easier to fix? And this might be an impossible question to answer, but if anybody can do it, it's you.
Well, I appreciate that confidence there, Kev.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, hitting you're reacting to mistakes, right? So I think you can't do anything, let the pitcher throw in the ball. I think it's easier to limit damage from a pitching standpoint. And, we all have scouting reports. We all have tendencies. It just comes down to making every single pitch a quality pitch. It's going to happen where pitchers make mistakes. The best pitchers in the game make mistakes. It's just kind of how you limit that, and I think on the flip side, from an offensive standpoint, you're looking for mistakes. Certain pitchers are going to give you multiple throughout the course of an at-bat. Certain guys are going to give you one, and you can't miss it. So being that the hitter's reacting to what he's seeing, I think is definitely more, you can probably expedite it a little bit if you're talking from a pitching standpoint and, not trying to just blow stuff by guys, not trying to just get things in the zone, in the box. You got to execute it properly, and usually it's a good outcome.
John, with all the analytics and video out there, is there still something about seeing the same team so close to the last time you saw them? Is that still a factor in the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's about adjustments now. You know what I mean? We just saw Carrasco, we just saw Lively, didn't see McKenzie, but it's kind of a cat and mouse game. It's what are you going to do differently than what you did last time? From an offensive standpoint, I think that the information that everyone has, both sides, us and them, is so in depth. I think it's up to the pitchers to make some adjustments, and whether you had success or you didn't, there's probably going to be a little bit of tinkering, and it's which team can kind of adjust on the fly the quickest. It is interesting when you play teams. We're playing Boston right after these guys just got done with them, and it is interesting to kind of see what tendencies were there and which ones are going to be there. This series, these next 3 games, and the next 3 after that. But it's I think a lot of it comes down to the starting pitcher and kind of how they're going to go back and forth from what they did to what they're trying to do now.
John, now that you have other options, is it getting harder to pencil George's name in the lineup on an everyday basis?
George is, there's obviously other options, and something that we've talked about over the course of the year, even going back to spring training, is, George is going to need some days off. He's going to need some days off his feet. It's not tough to put George Springer in the lineup. That may get you 100 more phone calls when I get off of this Zoom call, you know what I mean, with people disagreeing with me. And I get that, Georgie gets that. And for a guy that's been as good as he has been, we're counting on George to be a productive player. And it's not just him, man. It's a lot of guys. It's not just on our team, it's around the league. And it's kind of a weird situation that a lot of teams are in. And for us to kind of get rolling, George is going to have to be a part of it. Again, it's not saying, okay, George, we need you to carry us for a week or 10 days, and everyone is back on the George Springer bandwagon. It's him being productive, and it's Vladdy being productive, JT being productive, Bo being productive when he's back, and everyone kind of doing their part. So when you're a superstar player like George, and you've got the accolades that he has over the course of his career, it's easy to kind of, focus in on a guy who's grinding a little bit, but what people don't see is the conversations that are being had with myself and him and the hitting department and him and the work that he's doing, so, all we have is confidence in George Springer, and, he feels it, he feels the pressure, he feels where he's at, and hopefully he feels the confidence from us. So I guess to answer your question, it's, you got to make the best decision that you can. Some days it's going to be George. Some days it's not going to be George. But in order for us to do what we want to do, the majority of the time it's going to involve George.
Yeah, that's fair. You mentioned Vladdy. Vladdy sometimes has those why at bats. Why did you swing at that? Like there's some of those at bats with runners on base and a runner standing at second. And John, you've seen it. He swings at the sinker 0-0. That's 3 feet in off the plate. How do you get him off of those kind of at-bats and more back into that? When he went through that little stretch, it was taking that, getting into a leverage count and just leaning on stuff. How do you get him back into that and not so much of those why at-bats?
Sure. Understanding that it's going to happen. You know what I mean? I mean, we can sit here and tell, if you're hitting in the box, it's like, okay, Kev, you're facing Brian Bayo. He's going to throw you sinkers away, change-ups away. Leave it alone. Look for something close to you, and over the course of a game, you're going to deviate from that plan, and you're going to chase a little bit. That happens to everyone. I think the next step for Vlad is to kind of limit those. When he was going through May, and he's putting quality at bat after quality at bat together, whether it's a walk, a hit, a home run, a double, that's what he's doing. That's what all great hitters do. When you're game planning for some of the big names in the league, some of the big names in the game, you're trying to limit those mistakes. You're trying to stay out of the middle of the zone. Really good hitters, they're not budging. and I think it just takes a really disciplined approach. It takes constant reminders, and sometimes it's not going to work out, when you're playing every single day. But it's something we talk about all the time, and I think Vladdy is so talented. It can be enticing to swing at a lot of things because he can hit a lot of things, and same could be said about Bo sometimes. But the more you talk about it, the more you see him do it and get a positive result out of it. Hopefully it continues to carry over.
John, in your opinion, because I'm not in the dugout in game, do you think your lineup as a whole consistently is good enough at making in-game adjustments at a quality level? Like, guy gets you out one way, one at bat, he ain't going to do that again in the next at bat. Do you think your lineup is doing a good enough job at adjusting in game?
I think we're doing a better job now than what we were earlier in the year, and I still think we could be a lot better at it. It's tendencies are such a big thing, right? And what percentage you're going to throw a pitch in a certain count in a certain location. It's almost information overload at times, So I think we're doing a better job of it. And again, you could have all the information in the world, and that's going back to Wednesday. Bayo's got a good sinker, and the thing was really kind of running a little bit more than sinking on Wednesday. And it takes everyone to A, notice that, and B, make adjustments to it. So I think we are better at it. I still think we can be way better at it, because pitchers are so good these days, and pitchers are going to try to exploit something that you're not adjusting to, or trying to exploit something you're not consistently hitting hard. So there's definitely room for improvement there. And especially with some of the young guys that are coming up right now, and they're kind of going through it a little bit. But I think it's definitely trending in the right direction, and something that we're focused on every single day.
Mm-hmm.
John, what difference are you seeing in Addison Barger now compared to the Addison Barger we saw earlier? And you've also got a guy at third base. I don't need to tell you, Ernie Clement, who is coming off a pretty good homestand. How do you balance, the development you want to see from Addison at that position, but also the fact that Ernie has been a pretty good offensive contributor?
Yeah, I mean. Two-part answer.
Two questions, yeah.
What we've seen from Addy is he's a little bit more under control. It's a violent, it's aggressive swing. He plays with his hair on fire. But I think kind of being up here before is kind of giving him a little bit of a kind of a deep breath and understand that he can perform here. And you see him hitting some balls hard. You see him getting to some balls that he was getting to in the minor league. So I think just being a little bit more comfortable has been the biggest thing for him offensively. And in terms of balancing it, it's, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, we're going to try to develop in the big leagues. That happens kind of naturally, I think, just with the coaching staff and with the players. But it is a fine line to where, it's hard to ignore that when Ernie has been in there, he's been a little bit of a spark for us. He's made really good adjustments after the first month of the season, and he's usually helping us win in some way, shape, or form when he's in there. On top of that, we want to get these guys in positions to succeed, whether it's Spence, whether it's Addy or Orelvis. So it's a fine line. I'm not going to run guys out there and just say, hey, here's 4 bats. I hope you get the good reps in and get better for tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We don't have time. We don't have time for that, But it's a fine line between saying who can help us win tonight, who's going to have the best chance to help us, and at the same time not ignoring what guys that have been here have been doing. So that's kind of where we're at. There's definitely difficult decisions every single day when it comes to who's going to be where, and it's a little bit of a balancing act. But hopefully the development happens before the game, and their practice, and their work, and the discussions, and the performance is what's making the decision.
How much does it help you with IKF being the shortstop, being able to put Barger at third and Orelvis at second base? Just the experience factor.
Yeah, I think both him and Bo do a good job of communicating. Izzy's probably a little bit more animated when it comes to the in-game communication. But I think it's nice to have guys that have been in those positions at the big league level for a good period of time when you have, Addy on one side and Orelvis on the other. Shortstop's the quarterback of the team in the infield. I think they both do a really good job of it. And, it's nice to have a little bit of a coach on the field in either one of those guys in the middle of the diamond.
Barrios back-to-back starts against the Guardians. What's the biggest challenge with that? Who do you think has the biggest advantage? And will he have to make a change? I know those bunch of lefties, the way they run, all those things, and it is Barrios. I understand that. But there's got to be a little bit of a, I don't want to say hesitance about you just game planning. How tough is that going back to back against the same team?
It's tough. Yeah, we're gonna open format. No, I'm kidding. I think
they don't do that. Just don't do that.
Come on, let me get some controversy.
We're getting 100 calls.
Yeah.
No, I take Ozzy up against anyone right now.
Yeah.
I think what he did do, he threw the cutter more to lefties last time, and it was for foul balls. It wasn't for weak contact. And I think putting that in their head opens up the changeup. It opens up the backdoor breaking ball. It opens up the front door two seamer. Everything. So I'm really confident in his turn here. He's so athletic and he's so damn good when it comes to executing it in the game. I know him and Pete are going to have a solid game plan going in, but I mean these guys are tough. I think the biggest thing we want to see is probably that cutter into lefties resulting in weak contact as opposed to foul balls. And if he's executing his changeup, it opens up everything else for him against left-handed hitters.
Yeah.
John, you've been really gracious with your time today, man. Thanks for this. Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, you bet, guys.
Take care.
Good luck, man.
Go get him.